Hey everybody, welcome to the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour. I'm Blaze. How's everybody doing tonight? I have nobody to respond to me because Ken isn't here. But guess what, guys? This week I have a guest host and a guest host with the most. And here he is. Welcome, Scotti Man. Hi, Scotty.
Hi, Blaze. How are you, honey?
Hi, I'm
Lovely as
great.
ever.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So, for everyone, Scotty is a singer, a musician, an author, an illustrator. What else? Did I miss anything? There's so many things. A father,
Yeah, Father,
a husband.
mugwump, whatever.
I love it. I love it. So I'll say cheers to you. Thank you so much for sitting in, for Ken today. He's still under the weather. What are you
Absolutely.
drinking there? What do you got there?
This is some Glenlivet, actually.
Ooh,
I've
fancy.
developed a taste. In my older age, I've developed a taste for things that I can't afford.
Nice, nice. I have a little chocolate martini because when I think of your voice, I remember, so we know each other, we go back a ways. Um, I remember you from Johnny O and the classic Dogs of Love. I was a huge
Yes.
fan.
Yeah.
But when you would sing, there was not a girl in there that wasn't like, because your voice, no, because it's rich like this chocolate martini.
Thank you.
Truly, truly.
You're a rich girl, and you're going too far, yeah. 'Cause you know it don't matter anyway, baby. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely, baby, on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, and it's going too far. 'Cause you know it don't matter anyway, yeah. You can say money, 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 but it won't get you too far, yeah. Get you too far. Don't you know that it's wrong to take what is given you so far gone on your own. You can get along if you try to be strong, but you gotta be strong. And while you're a rich girl and you're going too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, but it's going too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You say money, but it won't get you too far, get you too far. See the high and dry out of the rain. It's so easy to hurt others when you can't feel pain. And don't you know that love can grow? You can get along if you try to be strong for the thrill of it all. You're a rich girl and you're going too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, but it's going too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You say money, but it won't get you too far. I say money, but it won't get you too far. I say money, but it won't get you too far. Get you too far.
my favorite song of yours that you did, and I don't know if you still sing it or not, but if not, you should. Maxi Priest, Close to You.
Oh, actually,
Yeah,
I did that. I recalled that. I hadn't done it for about 10 years. And I just,
yeah.
a few months ago, I was at a playing at some wedding, and there was a lot of people my age. And I was like, you know what? I think this one will hit. So I worked it in.
Good, good, because
Yeah, went over well.
yeah, it was definitely one of my favorites, and it hits all the right notes too in your wheelhouse, just in the for the temperature of your voice, if you
Yes,
will.
it works. It sits right in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before we go in depth about you, let's talk about the week. So,
Sure.
have you watched anything good? Have you seen anything good? What have you been
I
up to?
actually, I've been finding the more comic book people I've been. We'll get into that later, but I've been following more of that to try to network on
Yeah.
Twitter and Instagram. So I'm finding out all these indie things that have been made into streaming shows and whatnot. And I just watched one made from a comic book called Paper Girls.
Ah, okay.
Uh,
And how was it? I haven't seen it
it's
yet, so don't give
it's
too much away, but
no,
tell us.
it's really good. It starts out and it's set in the '80s, which is that's the trend now. Which is everyone's since Stranger Things hit, everything's going. Oh, let's do that now, which
Yeah,
I love because that's when I was a kid.
right.
Um, but it starts out, just these girls delivering paper, and in the '80s, and one very early morning, the night after Halloween, basically All Hallows Day, I guess it would be, and then it goes completely nuts. So,
Okay,
yeah, I'll just
fair
that's
enough.
where I'll leave it. I'll leave it there. Everything just
Okay.
goes like way out.
All right. I'm definitely
Um,
gonna take a look at that.
yeah, it's
That
very
sounds awesome.
imaginative, and just the mindset is exactly where I love to be. So
Yeah. I'm sad that Ken's not here because he would have loved to have met you, and maybe we'll have you on again so that you
oh, I
can
love
meet
that.
him because Ken is really into comic books and all sorts of things. So you guys, would have nerded out without me. I would have just been sitting here like do drinking my chocolate martini, but it's okay. It's all right. We'll make do today. You have
The dragon.
the House of the Dragons. Yeah. So have you been watching that or no?
I've seen the first episode, yeah,
Okay.
and then I got chastised because I forgot. My wife and I watched the entire Game of Thrones together,
Right.
and I don't know what made me assume that she wouldn't be into this one. I think it's because I read, I saw a lot of private people's reviews, and where they were going, oh, they should have used a different family, and it wasn't right. The haters were out
Right,
in
right.
full force. So I figured I'd test the waters before I turned her on to it.
Sure, sure.
And I loved it. I loved it. So now I'm on pause until she finishes her book and we can catch up together.
Okay. There's another show that I watched and I'm trying. Oh, Reacher. Have you seen Reacher?
I watched that entire first season. Yeah,
Yes, me
when it was
too.
new and streaming. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I couldn't stop watching it. I think I watched it till like 4 in the morning because I was like, but there's just 2 more episodes left. I kept telling myself, there's 2 more to go. I can stay up. I can do this. And then
Yeah.
I see it's 4 in the morning. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a hard work day tomorrow, but can't
I
wait
think
for
the thing that
season
drew me
2.
into that was number one, the Tom Cruise movie, obviously,
Yeah.
but the other one was the lead actor. He was from the Teen Titans series. So, and he played Hawk in the Teen Titans series. So, of course, little nerd me had to go check it out, and he killed it. He's such an imposing force. Like he's huge. And he's
Yeah.
just, like you're like, okay, I just want to watch him kick somebody's butt.
Yeah. I really loved the writing and how he delivered those lines. Like for
Yeah,
me, I just enjoyed every minute and it was great. I highly recommend.
yeah, definitely.
Do you have like a favorite movie of all time? I know that's hard, but if
Yeah,
what's the first one that pops into your head?
there's two that are pretty much tie for my all-time favorite movies.
Okay.
Braveheart is the first one
Ah, yes.
because it's just, it embodies everything. I always loved Mel Gibson,
Yeah,
growing up in the '80s and '90s,
me too.
and being just a smidgen Scottish. And I love the accent. It's fantastic. It's just, and he says, "Oh, that was a little less cordial than he's used to." That kind of. He says, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to pick a fight." And
Absolutely.
and then he says, "Well, at least we didn't get dressed up for nothing." But, and then Goodwill Hunting is the other one
Ah,
that
I I could
knocked me
feel
on my
that.
ass. Really, it was amazing.
I was just reading a quote about it was one that Robin Williams says to Will. I'm gonna put it right here. Love that quote, and I thought it's so I mean, Robin Williams, I think in general in that role,
Mhm.
Dead Poet Society, Goodwill Hunting, he had like these yes, he was so funny and was able to really capitalize off of that. But I think then when he did the serious stuff, and he just dug deeper than
Yeah.
anywhere I, have seen a lot of people go.
Hmm.
It's just breathtaking, brilliant to watch.
Yeah, it's what I mean. I've read and heard and even experienced a little bit of it from just the minimal bit of acting that I've done. It's they say it's a lot easier to do drama than it is to do comedy. You
Yeah,
have to really be talented to do that. So when you start out doing the hardest thing, and then you move on to the thing that people don't think is as hard, and
right.
but to me, they're both. It's just you really have to dig.
Yeah. Well, I liked your Scottish accent. That was pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're
I do.
welcome.
I love it. I do love it. I can't wait to visit over there. That's great.
I actually bought someone that I was dating a piece of land. I made him a lord because if you
Oh
buy
yeah,
a
I wanted.
land, you,
I saw
yeah.
that. I
So
want
I
to do
did it.
that.
I made myself a lady. I am
Yeah,
actually Lady Blaze,
it's
So,
just like
but
that
it
much.
is. But I said, you know what? I want to go visit there. I definitely am going to do it at some point. Like, why not? That's exciting.
Oh,
You can go
definitely.
visit your plotted land. You can plant a tree or some flowers or something. I think that's so cool. Why
Oh
not? You're a landowner of in another country. I've never been, so
yeah. Mhm.
that's definitely on the bucket list. I am also part Scottish, so that
Definitely.
minimal
Yeah.
part, but
Most Americans are mutts at this point. I think. Well,
yeah.
it's just sort of.
Well, listen, it is. I want to delve into your career and you, but first we have some business to take care of because Nicole is in the kitchen and she is ready and raring to teach us some things. So
Lovely.
let's roll that clip.
All right.
Hey Blaze, today I want to talk a little bit about thinking less in terms of recipes and more in terms of components. Sadly, it seems like recipe books are a little bit of a thing of the past. And yes, there's something so fun and nostalgic about digging through actual pages and maybe getting some inspiration. But you don't have to follow a recipe to the letter, whether you're searching through actual pages or online. And this is why I think in terms of prep as sort of setting the stage for my meals, and then perhaps looking at recipes for different ideas for flavoring. The reason I choose to think more in terms of components is because it helps me stay on top of my health and fitness goals, and I encourage my clients to do the same. So oftentimes when I'm looking at a recipe, the components might not be in the proportions that are suitable to my body and what I need. When I think in terms of components, I can say, all right, I need a piece of chicken, fish, beef, pork, or whatever animal protein is in question. I know that me personally, I'm going to need 4 to 5 ounces. And then I can look at the rest of my plate and fill in with an appropriate amount of a whole grain and the rest with produce. Now, how I season that, the sky's the limit. And again, that's where different recipes can come in 1,000%. But overall, me personally, and for my clients, I'm saying look at components and make sure they're gonna help you hit your goals. Now, if you're really, really looking for recipes, I'm gonna put you on to a couple of my dietitian friends who are also recipe developers. One is Chef Abby Gelman. She has multiple cookbooks. Mandy Enright, another one with some great, easy, no recipe cookbooks. And finally, Snacking and Sneakers, Miss Chrissy Carroll, recipe developer extraordinaire. So if you're into components, follow my tips. If you still want some recipes that are gonna help keep you on track, check out those 3 names I mentioned. Blaze, back to you.
Nicole in the kitchen. Don't you just love her, Scotty?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I Ken always says every week that he learns something new when I do Beachcombing with Blaze, but also with Nicole, and honestly, I think he likes her better, but that's okay. Um, I admit it. I admit it. It's fine. It's fine. But so recipes, and I know you have kids.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, what do you feed them? What's the
Uh, well, being half Italian, I got that passed down to me, the great grandmother's sauce recipe. So I forced my mother to teach me how to do that.
Wait, I have to
Actually,
interrupt. Do you say
no,
sauce or gravy?
oh, I say sauce. We say sauce.
Wow. Okay. My Italian side of the family says gravy.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do. And to be
Yeah.
honest with you, when I was a lot younger, a lot of my friends and family got caught up in that. Oh, it's sauce. No, it's gravy. No, it's sauce. No, it's gravy. Especially the people down at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yo, do you know that it's sauce?" It's no, it's gravy. So um, it, it makes no difference to me now as long as it tastes good. I'm like,
Right.
I don't care.
Exactly.
There's enough conflict in the world. Let's just break bread together. So
Yes. With
but
sauce or gravy.
yeah, so I make that. Every other week I'll have something. Where we do the pasta, and thankfully the kids have enough of me in them that they love it. So that's fine. And just I like different dishes that I like to experiment a little bit.
Didn't you have a project or something where it involved a recipe book or something along those lines?
It never came to bear. Yes,
Ah.
it was. There was a management company I was working with, and they were going to. They were also managing this Jamaican chef, who I won't name because nothing happened, and I don't want to make make any sort of step on toes. But he was going to come up with a bunch of recipes that children could make. I love kids, and I love teaching them, and that's why I write so many. I have 9 children's books that I've written now. So
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. So, Lala Girls.
yeah,
Which one was your first one?
the first
Was
one was
your
called. It's called The Adventures of Jack and Max. That
That's
was
what I thought.
my son and our dog Max. That was Jack, and then my dog Max, and they went through a bunch of iterations first. I had just come back from. I was living in New York and touring in Germany and England and on my own music and just playing for thousands of people and I was working out heavily for the cameras and the promotions, and I got a hernia. And
Mm.
when I got the I was just ready to sign a massive, like almost $1 million deal to record and tour, and the breathing tube banged into my vocal cords. And when I woke up, I couldn't sing for almost a year. So I had to come back home, back here to Pennsylvania, and start all over again. But
And when was that, Scotty?
that was around 2002. So it was about
2002.
20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, yeah, I was going to say wow, but it also I can relate because I had tumors on my vocal cords in college, and I had a surgery, and when I woke up, I coughed and caused a massive granuloma to happen on the cords, and I
Oh,
had to have another surgery. So I remember,
mhm.
what that was like, and I still to this day was like, remember that old voice I had that was, that opera singer, and I mean, my voice is, everybody would say, oh, but you have such a good voice now. It's you sing jazz and blues and all that,
Mhm.
but the voice I had versus what I have now, is it's a loss. It really is
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
loss. So did your voice recover entirely, or did you, have to make some adjustments with your range and stuff?
Well, for that year, I definitely adjusted.
Well, yeah.
I went to Jefferson Hospital in Philly, and they said, "Well, this can be rehabbed to where you get most of it back, if not all of it." And I said,
Dr.
"Okay."
Saddleoff by any chance?
That was one of the. Yeah, that was who I went to actually.
That was the
But
doctor who did my surgery as well, Dr.
I went,
Saddleoff and Siegel.
and he didn't. They didn't take my insurance didn't cover it. So I thought, well, I'm not going to pay out of pocket for this. Plus, I know my muscle here. So I basically rehabbed myself for about a year, and I came back. I added like 3 or 4 notes to the top of my range and a couple notes in the bottom, and I was I had it ended up being better than it was before.
Mm.
But by then, this was all gray and this was all puffed up, and I wasn't about to try to get back in the gym and try to be, Justin Timberlake at that point. So
Right.
I thought, I'll do what I'm doing, and then I had, we had the kids, And I was sitting there looking at our son and our dog, and I was just like, they look so cute. And I hadn't drawn. I used to draw when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I hadn't drawn anything or written any word. I used to love to write stories on my grandmother's typewriter, one of the clack clack things, and it just struck me. It's just like my son is just he's this beautiful kid. And the dog is just adorable. He's a little Bichon, the fluffy white Bichon with the round head. And I mean, we didn't have him looking, show wise, like with the actual dandelion head. But they just look so cute. And I was like, let me just sketch them. And I just sketched them on the back of a lined piece of paper. And I was like, And then the songwriter in me wrote this little limerick about what they love to do. Jack and Max love jumping. Jack and Max love this. Jack and Max love that, and Jack and Max love that. And I had it all rhyming because I was used to rhyming and rhythm. And my wife, who is a middle school English teacher, said, if you put a picture of them to each one of those lines, you have like an early reader storybook. And I was like, huh. Okay, so I drew a picture of him climbing a tree. I drew a picture of him at the movie theater and having a drink and a children's drink, like orange juice. Not like, but and then I just released it, locally on my own thing, and people loved it. And I went, oh, I think I like doing this. And so I did another one. I wrote Jack and Max and Friends to 10. Which was each one of their friends has a different number of toys. Like, Nicholas has one pirate ship, and then the next person has 2 dolls, and the next person has 3 bouncing balls, and it just goes up to 10, just, to help kids learn to count to 10.
Yeah. And
that started selling. And then I did a Christmas book because I'm big into Christmas. I love that time of year. I know a lot of people are like, it's all commercialized. And I'm like, it is, but there's something different about, for me, that just, enough people change how they behave to others around that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to behave that way all year.
Yeah.
But if I get it reciprocated more around Christmas time. So it means more. I love it. It's closeness. And But so I did the Christmas book called The Truliest Meaning of Christmas. I did a little Dr. Seussian thing. And then my twin girls were born, and they, being Italian, I called them, oh, La Bella. So we called them La Bella, and then it just became Lala. So I called them the Lala Girls. It just kind of got truncated into that. And then I wrote a book because my wife used to get them to go, okay, it's tubby time. Let's go. It's tubby time. Mm-hmm. And she wrote this. She would sing it, and then I'm like, okay, I made a whole full song out of it then, but it was just fun. It was like, it's tubby time. Come on, it's tubby time. Hey. And it was just fun. And I just did this whole thing about them, the messes that they make throughout the day. And then, okay, now we have to clean up. And then I wrote 2 more stories about them. And then I wrote a story about that. It reminded me of, I wanted to do something like those little golden books when we were kids with the little gold trim on the end.
Yep.
So I called one. It was called All the Little Kitties. It was kitties. It was all this mother cat had these like 7 cat kittens, and they all did different things. And then she got sick at the end, and they finally came back to be with her at the end and all that stuff. And it was funny because I had her like dying at the end.
How Disney of you. How Disney of you.
Yeah, it was going to be one of those, because you always remember stuff like that, like the giving tree. And it's the sad ones that really stick with you. Right. But I got so much flack from my kids, my wife, my mother-in-law, like everybody was like, you can't kill that cat. So she survives. She turns around, there's a miracle drug, and, she got some OxyContin. And, no, it's not. The whole Netflix series.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness.
In the midst of that, I graduated to the comic. My first love was comic books, so I started doing that. And if you give me 1 second,
yeah,
pardon.
That's okay.
I wrote a 4-part miniseries of the comic book story. Actually, I'll take it back even further. I wrote a story like The Avengers. It
Okay.
had, it was a super powered team of people who were, trying to be good guys, and they had their issues and all this stuff. And I started shopping the idea to indie publishers, and they said, "Listen, Marvel and DC have it locked down, like for superheroes." Which
Right.
wasn't necessarily true, because I've seen some other ones like come out, like Invincible and these other.
The
But anyway,
boys. Yep. Hmm.
so I said, let me get something. I took the darkest character from this group, who had this, this really odd backstory. She was from a parallel world that was just all like hideous. It was like a horror story where she came from,
Hmm.
and her name was Sunset. And I wrote a 4-part miniseries of her origin, and I got those. I got a couple of those printed up, and they're this.
Oh my gosh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Sunset
this is
dawning.
Sunset Dawning, because it's about her finding herself and becoming the person that she's meant to be. Let me find one of my favorite picture pages here. I kind of like this page here.
Is it black and white? I can't tell, but
Yep.
is it? Oh my gosh, fantastic. Oh
It's
wow.
black and white, and that was sort of because I always liked that feel of the black and
Yeah.
white.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, the main thing was that I love the black and white feel of it, and also I don't trust my coloring ability. So I figured,
Ah,
until I can get someone, or get better myself, or get someone to actually do it, pay someone to do it.
right.
We'll stick with this. But what happened was, I just recently realized I might not have the time. Well, I definitely won't have the time to keep a series going, even a mini series.
Right.
So I'm just going to combine all these 4 books into one big graphic novel, which is it's going to be
Okay.
144 pages, because each book is 32 pages, except the last book, which is 44. So it's like this, it's a pretty big undertaking for me.
Yeah.
I know lots of people are doing like 300, 500 page graphic novels, and I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah.
This is all by myself, though. They have
Yeah.
they have a team, and I love some of the, like, I've entered some contests, and different things. The application for the publishers and stuff, and they go, okay, name everyone in the team, and I'm just like, it's just me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just me. But so
Yeah. I understand that, trust me. But you know
yeah,
what? When it comes to publishers and things like that, it usually is content, and they look at the story and say, okay, is this something we
yeah,
can make money from, and
yeah,
sell, and it doesn't matter if you have if it's one person or 100 people on your team. So
right.
if they feel it, if they think it's going to hit, if you have your finger, I always kind of like the finger on the pulse of what's
Mhm.
happening, whether it's vampires or mummy season, or zombies,
Zombies.
because yeah, I mean, it really is. If you look at the
Yeah,
temperature of things, and the way that things work,
yeah.
it is. You have like several vampire things that come out around the same time, several
Mhm.
zombies, several, and it really is what's hitting right now. So
Yeah.
I actually remember, and I'm gonna put this picture up right now, a sketch you did for me, that
Yeah.
was Blaze,
Yeah.
as a superhero. I loved it.
Mhm.
I put it out there occasionally. I'll repost it, and always tag you in it, because I loved it so much, and
Yeah.
it was so cool. I don't have the red hair anymore. I'm
Right.
a blondie since I'm at the beach, and living the mermaid lifestyle. I just haven't changed back. So
That's very.
we'll stick with the blonde for a little while, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, it
Uh,
suits you. It suits you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah. That character was in the original Avengers type supergroup that I had
Ah,
writing. That was part of my developmental sketches, and I was like, let's call her Blaze.
mm,
It's like, and then boom, there you were.
loved it. Loved it, loved it. So let's segue now back to music. So I know that you were just on a cruise not too long ago. So talk about that. And I want to hear also where you began with your singing. So, because I know Quincy Jones is in there, right?
There's well, his group, yeah, his
Yeah.
group was in there. The Brothers Johnson. When I was living in LA, I was their lead singer for a little while, almost a year.
And
But
what type of songs did you sing there?
they were there. They had a lot of funk hit songs out, the hit funk
Okay.
hit funk songs out. And they, yeah, I mean, they, Stomp was one of their big ones. And then we used to do, because he was Quincy Jones's band, he did a lot of, which actually how I got the job. I was dating a girl out there who was a singer. And I mean, imagine, go figure, somehow I found a 6 foot blonde out in LA. And she was going to this audition to be a backup singer. And I drove her there and she said, yeah, come on in with me. I said, okay. And I went in and I was standing there just singing some backgrounds, and the keyboard player, they were going to do some James Ingram songs
Oh,
because they had played,
nice.
the band that his band played on those tracks.
Sing me
And
one. Sing me one.
um,
Put you on the spot.
I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. 'Cause here we are back where we were before. Anyway, it's just one.
Yes, just once.
But
That
so,
you know what reminds that song too, because and I knew you were gonna sing that. Like I was thinking, oh, I hope he sings just once. But he has that they had so he had so many. James Ingram had so many hits and
oh
great songs, beautiful ones that just. So another song that I loved was Donny Hathaway, your song,
yeah,
your song,
yeah, that's no
or a song for you. Yeah, it's
problem.
so beautiful when you would sing that.
And
Incredible. I do. I remember. It's
oh,
a
wow,
yeah, Brick House. I remember Brick House too. That was another one you guys sang a lot of.
yeah,
Um,
we were doing that stuff before it became popular to do it in
yeah,
weddings. So that's how old
yeah,
I am. Oh man.
absolutely. Do you have any funny stories of anything that happened while you were with Johnny O and the Classic Dogs, or with what was the name of
The
Quincy
Groove
Jones's band?
Masters. Yeah,
Yes,
the Groove Masters was
the Groove
the
Masters.
band in town here. There's just there's definitely a lot of funny stories, but I don't think I can tell them at this point. Like the video may become called Exhibit A in some sort of
Mm,
indictment or something. But yeah, no. Suffice it to say, we had a wild time. We had a very wild time, and the best part was just hearing, because Johnny and I, he was the band leader and he started this whole thing. He had been on tour with a group called Instant Funk back in the day, and they had a hit out called "I Got My Mind Made Up," and then they were touring with Rick James and Prince, and then he became the sax player for the Village People.
right.
So he was all over the place back in the day doing the funk thing. And he was just that old school, laid back, and he actually spoke like it. You could just hear it in his voice. You could just
Hmm.
like, you just talk like this, and everything's like, oh yeah, baby, all right now, it was,
I remember.
and it just made you just feel like, okay, everything's cool.
Yeah.
Everything's all right.
When you just said that, it reminded me of that song "Double Dutch Bus." Remember
Yeah,
that
yeah, we
song?
we did we used to do that. Yeah, we used to do that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was well, that he was the one that did that. I got my mind made up. Come on, you can get it, girl, anytime. Not as fine. Say what? That's
Have you spoken to him? Is he still alive? I wasn't
yeah,
sure.
yeah. He's
Is
he's
he?
living in
Okay.
Florida now.
Oh, wow.
He was working at the Hard Rocks down there. He was doing the whole Hard Rock thing, and because
Okay.
wherever he goes, like he just moved. He just wanted to leave. He just left Philly and
Yeah,
wanted to go down there. And then the next thing you know, he started a band, and like with just people from down there.
yeah,
And it's rocking and kicking ass everywhere he goes. It's just what he does. I used to
yeah,
love going out with him because he dressed in I went to visit him one time, and I'm dressed like this, but like this and the shorts,
yep.
and we're going out, and he has like a zoot suit on with the tie and the matching little pocket square, and he has a headband, bandana, and a big brim hat, just looking like the wolf from the Warner Brothers cartoons. and he'd always have his sax with him. I'm like, we're just going out to have a couple of drinks. You never know, man. You never know. So we'd have his sax with him, and he just come in there. We walk into a place where the band is playing. He just goes open his sax and walk up on stage and start playing. And I'm like, what if they don't want you to? He said, it's all right, it's all right. And everyone loved it. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, I think that type of music too, that funk kind of, it's the
Yeah.
same thing when you're in New Orleans, it's and
Mm-hmm.
you could sit in anywhere pretty much. Like everybody's so open and musicians are, it's not about just yourself. It's,
Right.
it's about the music. It's
That's
about
so
the
that's how
music.
I always felt. That's what
Yeah.
because what I've been doing recently since I have the family, I do the one man show where I program all the music and then I sing along with it. But it's kind of getting old now. It's almost like a job because while it's still fun to interact with people, to me, music was always an exchange of energy with whoever you're playing it with. And sometimes, you're playing in a bar or a restaurant and no one cares. And if no one cares, you're not getting any energy back. So it just kind of becomes like, all right, we're doing this. And when do I get the check? And, but it's still, there will always be that one point throughout the night where I'll just go, ooh, that sounded good. And I'll happen to catch someone's eye across the bar and they go, like, that was nice, and it just give you that look. And then you go, all right, everything's worth it. It's all worth it now. You go,
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song that you like to sing? Like that's just
oh,
in your, or does it change?
yeah, it changes a lot. I mean,
Mhm.
recently, since the cruises I've been on, I've been doing all these cruises. The Soul Train cruise, the Ultimate Disco cruise, the Flower Power '60s cruise, and the '70s rock and romance cruise. And they all, what's cool about these is they all have like the people who recorded the music like
Right.
on the cruise. So like they're mingling and hanging out. And Jeffrey Osborne, who's one of my favorite singers from LTD, and all that
Oh.
stuff. I didn't realize it. I was in the lounge doing my set, and I do every time I move, I lose when I'm moving, and all of a sudden I see his face come out from behind the one slot machine, and he's like, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm singing his song in front of him, and it just freaked me out. I was like, oh no, 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 no. But he was really nice, just fantastic human being. And I just that, and then when I did the '70s rock and romance cruise, one of my favorite bands was on Ambrosia.
Oh my gosh. How Much I Feel was like
Yeah,
my
yep,
song for the
yep.
longest time. Oh my goodness.
That one, and
Wow.
the thing that I didn't, the thing that kind of was a little bit of a was the David Pack, the singer, wasn't with them. There's not with them anymore,
Right.
but they still sounded phenomenal. And ever since then, I've just been doing, there's a new sun arising. I can see it in your eyes, and girl, it keeps me realizing you're the biggest part of me.
Heck
I
yeah.
just feel like I just got goosebumps just
Heck
singing.
yeah. I got goosebumps. I was like, ah.
It's just great stuff. Like it just makes
Yeah.
you go, oh yeah,
It's
the
the
good
it's
old
the
days.
lyric, it's the music, it's the whole
Yeah,
package basically
yeah,
that how a
mhm,
song gets you.
yeah,
And especially, I don't know, for me, ballads just,
mhm,
oh,
yeah.
and it's not
Those,
all ballads. And sometimes it's also what frame of mind I'm in. I think with the How Much I Feel back in the day when I was listening to that one a lot, or even
yeah,
Close to You, or
mhm.
I Want to Know What Love Is, Foreigner. That's another
Oh yeah,
one that I just like when I hear it, I get goosebumps. And for a while, it was Daft Punk, Something
oh
About
wow,
Us.
uh-huh,
That
yeah,
was because it reminded me of someone and it was kind of our
mhm,
song. So like there was just like certain it's just funny how music can do that,
yeah,
and
and just
it's
take you back
powerful.
to, yeah, like
It's a
all of a
language of its
sudden
own.
you're in 1975 and you're like
Yeah.
5 years old and you're going, oh wow, everything's okay,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
What's the first song that you remember singing? Do you recall what it is?
know. Yeah, it was by Three Dog Night. Never been to Spain. It's called.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
I've never been to Spain, but I kind of like the music. See, it's a whole thing. It's really it's fun. But on stage, the first song I ever sang, I was actually about 5 years old, and with my
Yeah.
dad's band. I sang "Taking Care of Business" by Bobby Turner Overdrive.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was all right.
I
I
was
had
gonna ask you where you got it from. So your dad was a
yeah.
musician and that's where you got
Mhm.
it from.
Yep,
Okay.
my dad had four brothers, and he and three of them were in a band together when I was a little kid, and they were fantastic. They were so good,
What was
and
it called?
they were called Gaslight.
Gaslight. Okay.
Lyte, a little different.
Yeah.
And they used to practice it. We had an apartment And there was a boiler room at the end of our apartment, and I used to practice in there. And it was just I'd just fall asleep to listening to them. And they did Steely Dan and the Doobie Brothers and all this stuff,
Oh,
you know, and
Doobie
Chicago
Brothers.
and all that great stuff
Oh,
back then. And
wow.
the youngest brother, Rick, actually, my uncle, he went on to work with Chicago. He was in a band called Dakota, and they toured with Chicago and Night Ranger and a bunch of other people. And he was just, yeah, he was phenomenal. He passed a few years ago, but
Mm.
he was just an amazing talent and just ridiculously deadpan funny. It was just one of those where he just had that look, like that Chevy Chase kind of look, where it's just, and you know something funny is going to happen. It's just,
Right.
you know.
That's incredible. Well, we always ask one question of our guests, and that really is, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who's just starting out, whether it's in music as a singer, songwriter, or as an author, and that it could be two different pieces of advice then. So, but the floor is yours. What would your advice be?
Oh boy. Okay. The comedian in me wants to say, just don't. But I know that's not possible because there's no way I could not do the stuff that I feel like I was born to do. Um, the main piece of advice I would say that I'm only learning this now at 52, which is a sad thing. If I had learned this a long time ago, things might be a little different. But I mean, I wouldn't trade my life now for anything because it's amazing. But I'm finally learning a lesson that I should have learned a long time ago, and that is, um, it's okay to sell yourself. I was always the kind of guy who believed that, uh, like, the truth will out, or like as they say in England, and like talent will rise to the top. That's not always the way it happens because you have to sell it. Someone's got to sell it. And if you're not going to believe in it enough to sell it and to brag about it, chances are no one else is going to believe in it either. But I mean, there'll always be people that are impressed by you, but you still have to be the one that holds that torch, that just pulls that light out of you and goes, look at this. This is okay. And doing that is okay. I always wanted everyone to like me for not being a big-headed egotistical person, and it was hard for me to come across that way. As soon as someone said, "Oh, he thinks he's great," I'd be like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not that great. I'm okay, but I'm not that great." And then after I kept repeating that, I started believing it, and I started
Hmm.
believing I'm not that great. And then I'd have a night where it was pretty obvious that I was actually great that night,
Yeah.
and it became this huge conflict in me where I felt like I could do all this stuff and I deserved all this stuff, but I didn't want to put that out there. I didn't want to propagate that. I didn't want to talk about it too much and be my own mouthpiece. And now I'm realizing there is a way to do that where you can walk that line where you have confidence enough where you're not cocky. But you just have to find that line and make sure you stick with it. Just believe in yourself and let people know you do.
Yeah. I mean, I have to tell you something. I don't think I've ever told you this, but um, the first time I saw Johnny O and the classic Dolls of Love and you performing, I couldn't talk. I had my tumor surgery and I couldn't speak,
Oh,
and um, I and you, hearing you sing inspired me not to give up. And I could get teary eyed because it's 100% factual. Like, and it's funny because as you were telling the story, I remembered that that's exactly 100% what happened. Like, I remember I couldn't speak, and my friends were like, "We're gonna take you out. Like, we're gonna have you come with us to the bar," even though, I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak for 6 months. So, and after my surgeries, and my identity was, I was a singer my whole life, so I didn't have another identity, beyond the singer, you know?
oh,
So
I know that feeling.
seeing you, play and sing and do your thing and just have so much fun at it and sound so good, number one. But, and you were hitting all the songs that I loved. And then eventually when I started getting my voice back, I didn't just quit. I mean, I might have gone into different things, but I never left the industry. And I'm not sure if I hadn't said yes to my friends and gone to hear you sing, or just because I didn't even know you, but I mean, that I didn't see you, I'm not sure if I would have maybe said, I want to try something else, or maybe I should give up on this because I'm not the same person that I was, vocally, and but yeah, 100%, you inspired me to continue and to be okay with singing the type of stuff that I ended up having to sing because I lost that range and all of that I was used to. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you because I thought of it and I was like, you know what? I have to let him know that's why I was so connected to you throughout the years too.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for that.
Yeah.
I don't think I can adequately put into words what that means to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ah,
You're welcome. You're
wow.
welcome.
You're getting me all nuts.
No, but see, like that's the thing. You just don't know, um, who you're inspiring just by doing you.
Yeah.
So thank goodness that you didn't give up or let the fact that you didn't have insurance or whatever the case may be, that it was too expensive um, to not rehabilitate yourself, or to say, you know what, well, and a lot of people are like, oh, I have a family now and I have this, that, and the other, and then there's no music at all.
Right.
And then a part of them's missing. The creative side is missing in some way. And that always makes me feel sad when I know that somebody's so talented and then they're just like, give it up entirely.
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah.
to each his own. I get it. But that creative side never leaves you.
No.
That's part of who you are. And,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see what you have coming out next, and to hear you singing. And how about a little bit of Close to You to end the show?
Oh my goodness. Am I on the spot again?
No, I'm just teasing you. But no.
What's that? She was a Jezebel with breasts so clean, living a life like a backseat dream.
Yeah.
Telling me
Heck
lies
yeah.
when the truth is clear. I think she knew what I wanted to hear. Spinning around like a wing on fire. Walking a tightrope in love's highway. Fatal attraction is where I'm at. There's no escaping me. I just want to be close to you and do all the things you want me to. I just want to be close to you. Show you the way I feel.
Woo. Incredible. Woo.
Thank you.
So
Thank
good.
you.
I was going to join you, and then I was like, nah, let me,
Oh, you
no,
could.
because
You should have.
I just wanted to hear you sing.
Well, the
It's so
delay might have been
incredible.
weird too. You never
I
know.
know, I know, who knows? But I mean, again, it's your voice is just killer, and you just feel every word you say and sing. You just feel it. So it's a gift. It's a gift. It's definitely a God-given gift for sure, I believe. So, you know, yeah.
Thank you.
So let's hold there for a moment because we do have some other business to take care of. We have to get onto the beach, and we have to go beachcombing with me. Which, by the way, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite marine animal?
Marine animal.
Yeah,
Well,
what's your favorite
um,
marine animal?
the dolphin.
The dolphin. Okay,
Yes.
the dolphin.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's not what my
I'm
show's
an
about today.
intellectual type fan.
I was like, that's not what my show's about today. But
Okay.
but we will.
Whatever your show's about today, that's my favorite.
Perfect answer. Let's roll that clip.
Under the sea. The debate may continue about whether Sebastian from Disney's Little Mermaid is a crab or a lobster, but on today's episode, I'm voting for a hermit crab. They can be found on land. That's the type most of us had as pets when we were kids. Or in the water. These small crustaceans use another animal's shell to protect their soft bodies. While out of its shell, it more closely resembles a lobster than a crab. They have 10 jointed legs, 2 compound eyes, and 2 pairs of antennae. One antennae feels and senses vibrations, while the other pair smells and tastes. Oh, and they breathe with gills. They also like to eat plants and meat, worms, dead fish, algae, and plankton, just to name a few. These scavengers play an important role in cleaning up their natural ecosystem. They've been known to resort to using things like trash for its home instead of shells if there's ever a shortage. So only take 1 or 2 shells each time you go beachcombing. Until next time, explore, learn, love the adventure.
All right. Well, there you go. Singing crab under the sea in your honor.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I love it.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, any final thoughts?
Uh, Not really, but basically, no. Just I've had a wonderful time here. Thank you. It was so much fun just hanging out with you, even
Yes,
virtually.
I know. You too.
I admire what you've done and what you continue to do, and I really appreciate you having me on here. And
Oh, thank
I
you.
just I wish you all the best, and let me know if you ever want me to join you again.
Thank you so much. Definitely we do, because you have to meet Ken anyway, because
Yeah.
Ken and you will definitely nerd out all the
Okay.
comic. We'll have you on when we have like a comic book episode of
Yeah,
some
there we go.
kind.
I just thought of one more thing. I just
Yeah.
started uploading a little test marketing thing on
Okay.
Scotti Man Books, the website, scottymanbooks.com. If you go to
I
the
need to
part
do
where it
that.
says digital downloads, you go under books and then digital downloads, it takes you to a place where you can. There's a book that I started writing, a sci-fi novel about 14 years ago, and I'm sort of halfway through it or a little
Okay.
more, and I just decided to do it in episodes. And so you can actually, just by 99 cents, you can get the episode. It's like 4 chapters per episode. And it's just this wild sci-fi mercenary, crazy hitman futuristic thing. And I think it's really fun. And I'm trying to just see what kind of feedback I can get, because it was really my first foray into writing again. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's called Devil
And is this a
Chase.
graphic novel?
This is just novel. It's just
Okay.
narrative. Blah, blah.
Got
So
it.
yeah, it's back when I was just doing the typewriter thing and hoping to put out a big thick book, when I was a kid. But I kind of like it. As I was rereading it, as I was kind of loading it onto my computer, I was like, this isn't bad. And there's a lot of things I would change about it, but I like the rawness of like someone who just loves writing and hasn't studied it yet, but
Right.
just has this street, like, because I literally just wrote it from a prompt that I found in a book, and then like 150 pages later, like I had this most of a book done, and it's just like a stream of consciousness. I didn't have an outline, I didn't have anything. I just started writing, and it was mainly from a first person point of view, and I had just seen Jason Statham in something,
Mm.
so he was the main character in my head, so that's who I was writing it as, him. And it's pretty interesting. It's called Devil Chase, and it's this mercenary who quits the business, and his girlfriend gets kidnapped by this weird cabal, and then he goes on this rampage trying to find her.
Okay.
It's
Well, I will definitely take a
yeah,
read, because I love to read
yeah,
stuff like that anyway.
yeah.
And
It's just
then
dawned on me. Sorry to jump springing on you
no,
there.
no, I'm glad you did before we ended the show and didn't, like, text me later on. I should have mentioned this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, I was so happy. And thank you so much again for sitting in for Ken today. And again, Scotty Man, please join www.scottymanbooks.com. You can also go to on Instagram at Scotty Man Productions. And we didn't put Twitter up here, but I think it's just your name, right? Scotty
Yeah,
Man.
just at Scotty Man.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to find out where your next gigs are, I'm sure you can check out any of those sites and you'll post all of it. So, and I
Mhm.
can't wait to read the Halloween book too. That's going to be
Yeah.
exciting.
Oh, I'm excited about it, because I'm rereading it as I go, and I'm like, this is actually some of the best writing I've done, even though, it's like my own version of a Rowling, J.K. Rowling kind of thing.
Love it. Love
Yeah,
it. I can't wait. Well,
that
listen,
voice.
I champion you, and you kept me sane and in the business when I couldn't speak, when I didn't have a voice. You kind of spoke for me. So thank you so much, and cheers. And until next week, everybody, take care.